Okay.
Okay, everybody, we're ready to learn. It's Thursday night, Parshas Va'era. We're dug out of the first major snowstorm of this winter season.
Last one of the year.
Quite an amazing snowstorm, and hopefully from here on in it'll be warm and we will not have to contend with snow the entire winter anymore. Okay. Pasuk says at the beginning of the Parsha, V'gam ani shamati es na'akas b'nei Yisrael. Hashem says, I hear the outcry. I hear the na'akas b'nei Yisrael, Asher Mitzrayim ma'avidim oisam, that the Mitzrim enslaved Klal Yisrael. V'ezkor es brisi. And I remembered my bris, I remembered my promise to Klal Yisrael. S.S.S. asks a kasha right here, right on the beginning of the parsha, on this pasuk. He asks from a couple different forms. The Sefer Degel Machane Ephraim, the Sefer Oyev Yisrael. Also, a very, very interesting kasha. The pasuk says, Asher Mitzrayim ma'avidim oisam, enslaved. Why do we use the lashon of enslaved? Why don't we use the lashon of Asher Mitzrayim oivdim oisam? They make them work, something. Why does it? What point is the pasuk making by telling us that we were enslaved to the Mitzrim, to Parai and the Mitzrim and Mitzrayim? So really, in order to answer this question, the answer really lies in the fundamental difference between the Golus of Mitzrayim and all the other Goliaths. We know we sit down by the Seder, by the Haggadah, we say by Avodim Hayinu, Ve'ilu lo yhaitzi HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu had not taken us out of Mitzrayim, we say Harei Anu, Uvanenu, Uvnei Vanenu, us and our children and our grandchildren, Mishubadim, we would have been Mishubad to Parai in Mitzrayim. Had we not had HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ilu lo yhaitzi HaKadosh Baruch Hu from Mitzrayim, we would have been Mishubad to Parai in Mitzrayim. But now we're very thankful, we say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that you took us out and we're not Mishubad to Mitzrayim. So let's ask a question over here. What good, not what good did it do us, but what exactly is the big advantage that we're not Mishubad to Parai and Mitzrayim? What's the big advantage? Take a look. We went through other Goliaths. We're in Golus now, and again we're not in Eretz Yisrael. Or even though people do live in Eretz Yisrael, but we're not on top of the world where Klal Yisrael was meant to be during the time when we're not in Golus. So what is the tremendous thing that we were taken away and we're not Mishubad to Parai anymore? So we have to say that the Nesiv Shalom says that the Golus of Mitzrayim was different than the other Goliaths. The Golus of Mitzrayim was one where we weren't just subjugated because they were stronger than us. We were Meshubad to Parai, not just Meshubad. We were Meshubad, our Guf was Meshubad, our Neshama was Meshubad, our Moyach, our mind was Meshubad. Every part of us was Meshubad to Parai and Mitzrayim. And we so to speak, we had no control over ourselves. We had no control of what we would do. In other words, Parai had, use a word that we can identify with, Parai had a spell. The Mitzrim had a spell on Klal Yisrael. They had a lock on Klal Yisrael where we couldn't do mitzvahs. We couldn't think like a Yid. We couldn't act like a Yid. We couldn't behave. Our neshama didn't radiate Avos Hashem like a Yid should do. We were meshubad to the Mitzrim. In the other Goliaths, in the Goliaths of today, where we may have some of that, but the actual reason is, the thing is we're in Goliaths because we're Pashut. The Goyim are over us. The Goyim are stronger than us. They're a lot more than us. And obviously we can't take over the world. Though we may think we could sometimes. Maybe we can take over the township. Not even Lakewood Township. There's still 20 inches of snow on my street, right? Because we don't have control. We don't have control of the world. Because why? Because the Goyim are stronger than us. By Mitzrayim it wasn't that way. By Mitzrayim we were Meshubad to Mitzrayim. But the Mitzrayim had us, so to speak, locked in. And what we say a little further in the Haggadah, we say, Lefichach. Therefore, we stand up and we proclaim, Lefichach, Anachnu Chayavim. What do we say? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hoitziyanu me'avdus l'cheres. He took us out from avdus l'cheres. Miyogoin l'simcha. Ume'evel l'yontov, we say me'afelu or gadol, u'mishibud l'geula. Look, right? Beginning we said Hotzionu me'avdus l'cheres. Then at the end we said mishibud l'geula. So the answer is like this: that we know that there was some people like the Leviim who the avdus l'cheres was not negated. It wasn't negated. So therefore we come back and we say something that was negea to all of us, to Leviim, to every single part of Klal Yisrael. Mishibud l'geula. We were mishubed to the Mitzrayim. We were mishubed to Mitzrayim. We were mishubed to the spirit of Mitzrayim. And that's something we thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we have to come out. Everybody thanks HaKadosh Baruch Hu for letting us out, mishibud l'geula, from taking us out of that shibud. And now our guf and our nefesh and neshama are thankful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for that. So the Siva Shalom says that the same way there's a golus of the Klal in that way. In other words, whereas Klal Yisrael we were meshubed, the Nesiva Shalom said that the same thing applies today on an individual basis to the prat. And this is what? Ein Chanami. We're not meshubed to the Mitzrayim now. We're not meshubed to Paroi. But what we are meshubed to is that we're in a battle every day of our lives. Who's in charge? Is it us or is it the Yetzer Hara? Does the Yetzer Hara have a hold on us? Every person has a struggle with the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara wants it that we should do mitzvahs without a cheshek, that we should serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we should come in to daven, we should come in to learn, but without the proper hislavis, without the proper love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, without the proper way of doing mitzvahs, that's the battle that the Yetzer Hara has with us. So the question, the Nesiva Shalom says, on a pratistic level, on the individual level, who's winning that war of Mitzrayim today? Is it the Yetzer Hara? Does he have a lock on us? Or are we not meshubed anymore to the Yetzer Hara? Are we free from the Yetzer Hara? Don't worry, he's ordering a good meal right here. Anybody want to know what he's ordering? No, it's okay. We don't have to know. Anyway, so that's why it's a tachlis, and that is the tachlis of our battle today with the Yetzer Hara. That is our tachlis, how we are not meshubed anymore to the Yetzer Hara. And he brings down from one of the slonim. Shlanim comes from, I hope everybody heard that lecture, a little musar of a mil share, it's always good. They bring down from the Saba Kadisha of Lechovich, which is one of the Hasidus that Shlanim stems from, and it says that the Rebbe said when he was young, he used to get up, and for the first few hours of the day, sometimes people want to know why sometimes when you want to catch a late minyan, they say, oh, go daven in the Hasidic shtivel. But you know where it starts from. It didn't start from people waking up at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. They used to stand up in the morning and they would focus in on one avodah, one part of davening, and they didn't get any further. He said, what took him a few hours to get through? V'choif es yitzreinu leishtabed lach. We want that that our Yetzer should be, who should we be serving? That we should be subservient only to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we say it also, we see in the tefillas of Friday night, those that say Ribono Kol Olamim, it's written there in the tefillas also, that Shetarachameni Oy Begalusi Lega'aleni, that we should each be redeemed, what? From our own personal battle, from our own personal gullus. And the Nesiva Shalom said, that's why sometimes a person wants to know why. I wake up in the morning, I try to do mitzvahs, I try to daven, I try to learn, but for some reason, I don't feel that warmth, I don't feel myself really doing it, I don't feel that it's working so much. He says, you know why? Because that's the lesson of our gullus. Our gullus is that we're in a battle, not with Paroi, but we're in a battle today with the Yetzer Hara. We're in a battle every day to say who's in charge over here. Is in Gullus. Am I letting the Yetzer Hara get a hold of everything in my life, or am I the one being in charge? And he said that's what every person. And when you wake up every morning, you have to realize that is our job here in Gullus. That is our job, to go to battle every day and try to see if we could fight the Yetzer Hara, if we could be the ones to come out on top. And that's the lesson that we learned from the beginning of this week's Parsha. Asher Mitzrayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu heard the Nakas B'nai Yisrael, Asher Mitzrayim Mavidim Oisam, that Mitzrayim had a lock on them spiritually. And that's something we have to still work on every single day on a pratistic level, even if that's not where we are on a Klal Yisrael level. Go ahead.
Shabbos.